What's up, guys, and welcome to the theScore eSports podcast, episode 33, if I'm not mistaken. Although it's been a while for me, guys. I just got back from vacation. I'm, of course, your host, Colin McNeil. With me in the studio is Dennis Gonzalez.
Hello.
And Josh Burry.
Hello.
Oh, that was a very tentative hello. You weren't sure you wanted to say hello to everybody.
I'm furiously attempting to make sure that the technical aspects of this podcast remain suitable for all audiences.
We do truly appreciate that. As for the editorial aspects of this podcast, I'm pretty hyped to be coming back after about a 4-week absence to a podcast with our boy Auguste Massonnat. Better known, of course, as Semmler, one of the premier voices in the world of CSGO.
Do you want me to bring him on now, or
not right now? We'll do some top banter first.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do a weather report, like a podcast
weather
report.
You want to keep him waiting. I see how it is. That's really.
Oh yeah,
keep him waiting. Keep the fans waiting.
That's the secret to getting a good guest. You know, you keep them waiting till they hang up on you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a while, guys. I've been in Europe, came back.
Yeah.
How did the podcast burst into flames while I was gone? Or
I mean, it was kind of non-existent. So I mean,
hey, we did one.
Was there one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did one. We did one late last week, and it was sort of just a roundtable situation talking about the recent stuff in esports. There's been a lot of weird stuff. PUBG as an esport. The Overwatch League forcing teams to create their own brands for their spots, which I thought was really interesting. So we've had some really interesting discussions, I think. And,
yeah, that episode is live right now. Definitely check it out. Episode 32. Remember, we're on YouTube as a VOD. We're also all over iTunes or whatever podcast app that you prefer to use. So you can consume it in audio, video, and yes, even text format. Watch for that. Without further ado, why don't we bring the reason we're all sitting here on, and we'll get Semmler.
All right. We should be good to go. Hello, Semmler.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Semmler!
Finally, hey.
I got to bring
It's
the
been
energy.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Since May.
We first had... Yes. Aha, he remembers. We first had him on early May, and... Since then, I think your beard's gotten longer.
It has, yeah, it has. Although I had one of those horrible experiences a couple weeks ago where I was just like, just a trim, just take a little bit off. And the guy just rolls up. And he's like, Zzz. And I'm like, well, I guess there we go.
Yeah.
I guess that's done with. The
all
trim
that
went out the
progress.
window.
Yeah.
So it would be longer, but that's the nice thing about hair. Usually it grows back. Usually.
We need a standardized system of terms to describe different kinds of trimming, maybe, because trim is very generic.
Yeah.
Like, who even know that? Trim for you, maybe complete shave for some other guy. So it's like, how do you even know?
Standardize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Months of hard work right here, boys.
Now,
that would be years for me. So yeah, I respect it. I respect it.
Jesus, Josh. Now, I talked a little bit in the intro about how I've been on a vacation. CS has been on a vacation, actually. And you yourself, if I'm not mistaken, have been abroad, Semmler.
Yes. I've been on vacation as well. It was quite a nice vacation. Visited some family and friends and took my time with it, really relaxed and enjoyed myself. It was quite nice.
Well, that is good to do once in a while. When is the next time we're going to be seeing you on camera? Besides,
Friday
of course,
night.
the theScore eSports podcast.
Friday night. We're going tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I'm catching a flight to Atlanta. And we go live Friday night for the first week of E-League.
Right.
Season 3 or E-League Premiere, however they want to call it. I mean, we don't really know anymore. So, it'll be Friday night. Friday and Saturday this week.
Well, even unofficially, Atlanta will be your official comeback from the vacation. But you guys did some streaming for Malmö with your boy Thorin, Vuggo, who is ex-Fnatic, and Natu. How was that actually?
I think it was good. There's still a lot that we're learning right from that format. So it's really just a fine-tuning kind of process that's going on right now with it. When it came down to Malmö, I wanted to try and experiment a little bit, and so this was one of the ways to do it, where we had done this for Pro League Finals before, Duncan, myself, Lurpus, and Get Right, and we had a blast doing it, right? Kind of couch thing, just relaxing. You shoot the shit about whatever you want, really. It doesn't even need to be about CS. Really the whole idea, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Joe Rogan's, Fight Companion. It's kind of the similar kind of similar vibe that we were aiming for, right? But it turns out that with esports, when you have a 12-hour day, it gets kind of hard to just talk for 12 hours. So, you know, we're trying to figure out either how to make it a bit more compact and, right, you know, energetic, or if it is going to be in that long format, how to, you know, fill that content so that it's not so much just relying on us. So, you know, it's a definite work in progress right now. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to work with Vuggo. I hadn't worked with him like that before. I think that was his first time, rather, that he had been doing something in English like that. And well, Natu's a vet, so, you know, it was just a good time to relax, because none of us were at Malmö, right? So it was really just like, well, what can we do that will be fun and that will actually give us something to look forward to in the future, right, as far as projects are concerned, and that was it.
It sounds pretty cool to me too, because I think for a lot of viewers, like, they want to be on that couch with you guys, right? Like, they want to be able to be there shooting the shit with you. So to give them that opportunity to have all you guys just sit down and really just hash things out, whatever it is you guys want to talk about, that's actually a pretty cool format, I think. I think it's something that could work really well.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's man, it's super tough though. You know, it's really tricky because you have to get around, you have to properly promote it, which is interesting, right? Because not everybody's going to know that this thing is even happening. It's not like DreamHack, you know, we're the ones who are putting it on, right? You know, we were the ones who were pushing for it. And so, you know, everything came together in the end that, okay, cool, it's on Snipe TV, but then it's on Snipe TV, it's not on Twitch, so you're not going to get that traffic that way, right? Where people are just showing up to the CS page and then, oh, they see the stream, and then, okay, maybe I'll click on that, right? So that was interesting. We learned a few lessons there, but also on just, you know, the format itself, you know, how to make it entertaining, how to make it fun. The whole idea is that it's supposed to be, you know, that vibe, you know, you're watching with your mates on the couch, right? You know, just like, hey, sorry.
Bless you.
I tried to fight it off.
No worries.
But all right, no, it's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
For a second there, I was worried. No. It's like it's a real tricky thing to fill that much time. And yes, you have the matches, but what's fun, right, is that it was there's no break, right? You know, so it's like in a regular broadcast, you know, analysts, they have 5-10 minutes to talk, maybe a little bit longer depending, right, if it's between series or whatever. So that's actually, when you think about it, a pretty compact amount of time. So when you have a bunch of ideas that you want to talk about, but you only got 5 to 10 minutes to express them in, boom, you know, that's pretty heavy. But then you hand off to the commentators, and the commentators, well, they always have that out. You know, if they don't have anything really particular to say, they always have that out that they can just talk about what's happening on the stream, right? What they're seeing, what you're seeing, and you can kind of talk on that. And then, oh, okay, you notice the detail, and then you start talking about that, right? There's always something there. What was interesting with this format is that you're just always on. There was no breaks or handoffs or you know, anything like that, chance to breathe or anything like that, right? It was just like you're always on. And so it's fun because it's a different atmosphere completely. You're trying to think through on you know, how it's just you're talking to guys, you know, to 3 guys for 12 hours. You know, figure it out, right? So it's a totally different challenge. So but that's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's like I want to figure out new formats. I want to try and figure out new stuff to do around the tournaments that's going on. And so this is just one of the ideas that we really had our heart set on, Duncan and I. And so I'm glad that we were able to do it again.
That's good. I actually have a kind of a 2-pronged question. So first is, does this experience give you kind of a new appreciation for when you're working with like tournament organizers such as DreamHack in ESL? And the second part of that is, this type of thing, going independent or making your own studio, because I know you have On Fire, which is I kind of a caster talent agency almost, but not necessarily a studio in and of itself. So is that
right
where you want to go?
I'm like we're really open right now. So I've run tournaments in the past and I've run productions in the past, and so this was more of the same in that field. So, you know, giving more appreciation. I will put it this way, where it was interesting interacting with the TOs, both with ESL last time that we did it and DreamHack this time. I did learn a few things that I hadn't taken into consideration before. So definitely, you know, TOs have got a massive amount of shit to deal with every time that they put together an event. And so it was fun, right, where you take some things for granted and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, they look at it a totally different way than we do, right? Fair enough. There's all sorts of things like brand. You know, they got to cover their brand and make sure it depends on the scale of the tournament and what they think about it and all these sorts of things, right? That you may not consider, right? All we're thinking is, well, we just want to do our thing. What's the problem with this? But then you have to look at it from their perspective, where it's just, you know, is it going to be dog shit? Is it going to reflect poorly on their brand? Is it something that they can control? Are their sponsors going to get are their sponsors, right? The whole thing that makes esports run, are they going to get properly represented and are going to be happy at the end of this, right? All sorts of things that you have to think over and actually discuss before you can actually put something like that in motion. So for the TO side of things, yeah, that was, I mean, it's fun to learn more of their world, because we obviously come from a caster world, and so it sometimes the trenches are there and you're kind of like us against them. But to learn a little bit of the TO perspective was fun. When it comes to doing this in the future, absolutely. I mean, maybe not under Room on Fire. I don't think that this was a Room on Fire project per se. Room on Fire is kind of right now, creating its own content. We've kind of divided things up with Room on Fire, where now we have Philip Neubauer, who was our video man. We've kind of made like a little sub branch for him, which essentially is On Fire Studios, right? On Fire Productions, that he goes out and essentially creates content, right? That's what we wanted to do at the beginning with the greatest games and these sorts of things, the vlogs and the sum up of the tournament and these sorts of things, right? He just wants to create videos. And so right now, while the talent kind of get their schedule sorted out for the rest of the year and all that sort of stuff, right? He's got autonomy to go and just create content. So that's one part of Room on Fire that's working right now. The other part, as far as like the agency is concerned, all that sort of stuff. I mean, Moses, Anders, and myself will be in Atlanta for about a month and a half now, starting tomorrow. So that's kind of one of the side goals of that period of time, is to figure out exactly what Room on Fire is going to do. Because right now it is kind of like that. You know, it's like you talk to somebody like, oh, what is Room on Fire? And it's just like, well, it's not really an agency. It is an agency. It's not really an agency. Yeah. So right now it's kind of in that brand stage. And, it's kind of just a brand, like, oh, you're tied to Room on Fire. Okay, cool. What do you get from that? And that's what we're trying to figure out now. Yeah. But personally myself, this is really just a project, and one of the projects that I want to continue to work on in the future for myself, right? It's not Room on Fire. This is just like kind of me wanting to push this more.
Now, the last time we talked, you described the current climate of CS, the climate 4 months ago of CS, as I think you said, quote, a state of headshots. It was skill-based, sort of individual-based. Yeah. In the time since we spoke, do you think that has changed at all?
Yeah, I think G2 showed us that we're coming full circle again. You know, Gambit, SK to an extent, Astralis to an extent, right? I think we're starting to see the return of structured play. So, and it kind of makes sense, right? What we talked in May, May,
like 4th, I think.
I mean, that's not super long, but I think it was already like it might have been on the way around. It's probably like around like a 6-month cycle, right? Where it's like you get really headshotty and then you kind of get back more into structure, and then it kind of rotates around depending on who's the strong team at the time. But right now, I think that after watching G2 play this weekend at Malmö, the style that we saw from them was a bit more structured. North as well, a bit more structured. And so I think we're starting to get back into that tactical side of teams where they're having to figure out how to function as a unit again, instead of just being like, right, go frag.
Yeah.
That's not saying that there aren't teams that are still built on that model. I think FaZe, for example, are a team that's they're just going to try and they have so much raw aim on that team that they really just need loose structure, and they just need to figure out on which maps where do people feel most comfortable. And okay, cool, Olaf Meister, our like guardian, right, with that op, he's going to be mid somewhere, right? Just give him that space, let him do what he wants, I think FaZe is going to be kind of like an exception a little bit. There will be some structure, but mainly I think they're going to focus on just having insane Olaf Meister, Nico, Guardian, Rain. I mean, really the firepower there could allow you to still just function off of headshots.
Now, sorry, go on.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm glad you actually brought up FaZe, because I did want to ask you, the sort of super team roster got more super and their results got less super. Now, I know it's really early days yet. Malmö was the first outing for this current roster. But do you think that, as you say, the climate of more structured play is Is this not the time for FaZe Clan ascension?
Yeah, like should I be worried, Semmler? Because FaZe Clan,
We got a FaZe Clan fanboy over
I am
here.
a FaZe Clan supporter, and
FaZe up.
yeah, FaZe. But yeah, I don't. You would have thought we would see a better outing than this, and then that to me is sort of the fear is should we be worried about this, or are they still just hashing things out?
They're still hashing things out. I think we should be worried a little bit. I don't think that it was justified getting rid of Kiyoshima just for the sake of Olafmeister. I think that was kind of a poor. Kiyoshima was doing everything that he needed to do.
Yeah.
But this is always the complicated thing, right? Even us when we're with the teams at tournaments, they hedge. There is always kind of a barrier, right? And this is the unwritten rule when it comes to players: is that whatever is happening in the team, you don't talk about it with that. It's like mob families or whatever, right? Whatever's happening in the family, that's family business, and you are not hearing about it, right? You're not talking about that to anybody else, and so. You can spend all night with some players, at the bar or whatever, dinner, you're talking it up and you're talking about a bunch of different things. But as soon as you try and maybe broach a subject on so how is how is this guy doing in your team? They clam up.
Yeah.
And so, for the outside, right? It looked really good. It looked really good. They're getting into finals after finals after finals. They have one poor performance at the major, and it's blow it all up and get Guardian in. Guardian, who hasn't played the goddamn game for a year apparently, right? Or let's get Olafmeister in, right? I mean, or you could keep going at least a few more tournaments with the roster that got you into final after final, maybe. So I'm kind of curious as to why. To me, it feels like this is, because I think everybody's looking at it like, oh my God, they're getting all of the stars in. But really, to me, it feels like, there must have been something behind. There must have been something behind that spurred this on, because it seems when you think about it, Kerrigan can try and play like a defensive or support kind of anchor, but Kiyoshima was doing his job. It felt like everybody was doing their job, and they had like a good machine going there with FaZe. So, and to have it completely self-destruct like that, going 0-3 in the groups at the major, it feels like it wasn't to do with the game or the strats. It felt like it was to do with the players, and there must have been some bullshit going on there. So, I don't know if changing the players is going to solve everything or not for this team. But I personally. From a game perspective, I think getting rid of Kiyoshima is an interesting decision.
Yeah, I'm really glad that that's kind of your perspective on the matter, because from where I'm standing is he seemed to be doing everything that he needed to do in his role as a support player, but now with this Guardian and Olafmeister. Is there such a thing as too much firepower? Like, what does that do to FaZe's support line? What's going to happen to their set plays? It means
what? You're going to rein in rain?
Yeah, no, exactly.
How does that work? I mean, the guy needs to have space to go and frag. He's a crazy fragger. Like he could beast, and it looked like he was getting to that point. But I guess that means that to give space. Olafmeister has gone into it saying, right in the interview when the roster change came, he's just like, I'll take any position. I was like, no, Olaf. No. I don't see you lining up flashes and smokes for Nico to go out and no.
Yeah.
That's not you.
It's got to be a case.
And if he does do that, I'll happily, eat those words and we'll see where they go. But I don't think that naturally Olafmeister is a killer. He's not the kind of guy who sets up somebody else. He is a monster. He wants to go out there and ruin your life and make sure that that he did it. And so I have trouble seeing how that dynamic is going to work in the team, and Guardian as well. I mean, Guardian needs space to op. Are you going to say no, Guardian? You can't. How is that going to work? I don't know. We're gonna see.
I'm just wondering if this is maybe is this like a too many cooks situation? Like, is this just because I think every time we see like a so-called super team, it feels like it never works the way it should on paper. Like you look at it and you're like, well, this roster's crazy, but FaZe is not the first team to put together like a really strong roster on paper and then have an outing that kind of makes you wonder if it makes sense to have these big stars, like multiple big stars all on one team, because like you said, you don't get some of that maybe selfless play that you would expect.
Yeah.
And Keo obviously was able to do that before. So do you think, Semmler, that like the idea of a super team is maybe like inherently flawed? Like, have we ever seen a true super team?
No, we have seen a true super team in the past. Envious, for example, when they nearly won Cologne and then they went on to win Collusion and Poca. I mean, that was a super team. And this G2, this iteration of G2, that is a super team in my opinion, because and you could see it. You could see it when they won at Malmö. I mean, the way that they went out at the major was once again heartbreaking, but I think that was more mental than anything, because Shoxy hasn't made it out of the groups. It's almost like Shoxy is finding himself in the position of existence back in the day. Remember when you're thinking they're going in, they're definitely gonna make the playoffs. They've got everything they need. They've got all the tools. They got the fraggers. They got the support. They got the tactics. Everything, right? They're the full package. And then it turns out that package got left in the rain. And it all just falls apart. Just as it comes to the end of the groups, and then yet again they don't make it out of the playoffs, and it feels like Shoxy's kind of now finding himself in that position where he's dealing with that mental strain of fucking, hey boys, we better make it out of the playoffs here. And then you get to that finish line and then you're tripping, and once again Shoxy's not in the playoffs, and you're sitting here thinking like, what is going on in this world? And then sure enough, they come into a tournament, international tournament, where there isn't that pressure of the major. And all of a sudden, you can see why they did this team the way that they did, right? Why they built this team the way that they did. Because you could see Apex is a selfless player. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll go in there and wreck everybody, and when he wrecks, that's when they win. If Apex has something like 50 frags across the best of 3, G2, I think they've only lost like once, and that was in some online bullshit thing, like nothing of value, right? So already, if your entry fragger is having insane series, but not only that, is willing to set himself up and sacrifice himself so that his opper, because Kenny and Apex work so well together as a duo, but you can see it time and time again throughout these series, throughout this tournament, where Kenny's lined up with the op, who's jumping across the open doorway to draw, the angle, to draw the shot. Apex, he just throws himself out there, throws himself, and then Kenny peeks, boom, gets the kill, and there you go. It's like, and it's all of these things that you could see falling in with G2 where, to me, they are a super team because the roles are very well defined on that team. Everybody's got their lot in life, and it seems like they're pretty happy with it. And because of that, you can see them coming together with the firepower, like the Kenny, Apex, Shoxy combo. Shoxy going 21 frags in 12 rounds? Get out of here, man. It's like that's your in-game leader. That's supposed to be Apex or Kenny, but it's like Shoxy, right? So you have that kind of firepower on that team. It seems like perhaps they are finally starting to come together and get over the mental block. Whatever it was that was in their heads that was holding them back, it seems like finally G2 are starting to, really get there.
To your point, guys, the last time we actually had Anders on this show, we sort of talked about a similar subject, and he went as far as to say that super teams almost never work, and the amount of things that have to coalesce, come together to make them work is staggering. And he actually named FaZe Clan as one of the few success stories, which he thought was shocking. It should have never worked. Speaking of rosters, I think OpTiC is worth talking about. This is really weird. They've got Mixwell Freiburg, Alu, Magisk. They're all different European players. This is a supposedly NHS. They're all different Euro players, supposedly an NA org, dropped all their NA players. I have a lot of questions with this one. Not the least of which is, what does this say? If this could be a pulse take of the NA talent pool, what does this say about it?
Oh, NA is... Dude, you've got a this was the joke that we had all weekend long, where it's like a Kazakhstani team won the major. Where you at now, NA? I mean,
what up now, NA? Woo!
Kazakhstan, Yeah. North America. What is going on here? It is a goddamn travesty. But then they have a totally different. They have a totally different set of difficulties with the regions, right? Because marketing dollars are so strong in North America. These teams are rolling around with budgets that boggle the imagination. And because of that, all those team owners, they know, oh, well, I know that you have X million dollars in the bank, so I'll go ahead and sell this player to you for 300, 400, 500, however many hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can't get together a super team. You're not going to beggar yourself and use your entire budget just to hope that you make a team. That doesn't make sense. And so the talent is there in the United States. What's always been the holdup, it seems, is the buyouts, how expensive it is, how expensive it would be, and so, or you just kind of have to cheat a little bit and go full liquid and get one of the best European players out there and maybe use him as a stand-in.
Yeah, I think,
and maybe that'll work, but it's NA are it's kind of dire. I'm not really sure. I don't really have all that much faith in this new Cloud9 because it seems like they're still playing hot potato with the in-game leader role.
Yep.
And okay, some teams do that. Virtus Pro do that, for example, where they kind of pass it around. And sure, they're not looking really hot right now, but for the past 4 years they have done that and they have had success. So there are teams that can do it, but at the same time, Virtus Pro have got two of the longest standing professionals in the business. Been playing CS competitively for 15 years plus, right? And you got Neo and Taz. I mean, so those guys are going to kind of know how to balance things out. Then you've got the fresh blood and snacks, the new way of looking at the game, et cetera, and you find like that kind of balance there. Cloud9 don't really have that, so who's it going to be? Are you going to have Tarek call for you? I mean, it seems like that's the case right now, but I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't really have too much faith in the NA scene right now, sadly.
Yeah, it's worrying. If Josh is the resident FaZe fanboy who's worried, I'm the resident C9 fanboy who's worried. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Stu, man. I'm a big Stewie fan, but it's interesting. It's almost like I worry that Stewie could become like Nico, where there's so much attention. And there's so much focus from the community, from the pundits, from everybody, right? That, he's the best, and I worry that might poison the well, if that makes sense. And it's difficult because if you're in a team where you outshine your teammates and you are constantly praised for outshining your teammates, and you play FPL or whatever and you outshine everybody. I mean, it's the same thing with Nico. Where I just wonder, how does that work in a team dynamic? And do they have? And that's maybe the concern, is that they don't have like a Neo or a Taz or somebody who's been there, done that, been the best in the world in Neo's case, but who's still stuck with it and who's still been around even in the dark days, right? Who's just seen it all to kind of bring things back and balance things out in the unit. And I don't think that Cloud9 have that person. I mean, Nothing should have been that person.
Yeah.
He's been around for ages. And what did? They got rid of him. And we don't know why. I don't know why. Like, that's the other thing, in these roster changes or in these rosters, I mean, it comes as a big shock to everybody that Guardian hasn't played the game. He just doesn't play CS unless it's like a job for him. Fair enough. But, it's like a job for him where he shows up, he plays prac, and then he plays officials, and that's it. He's not touching the game other than that, right? And whereas you've got guys like Stewie, they get off of the plane coming from a tournament, and they are logged into Face It or ESEA or whatever, and they're already playing again for, hours and hours, right? And that's gonna be telling. There's gonna be a big difference there. You can't really have the people who are kind of like half in, right?
Yeah. Going back a little bit to kind of the OpTiC question, what was your read on that roster? Because I think given the talent that's on that team, I think the biggest question mark is actually the in-game leader role, which I believe Freiburg is new to, if I'm correct. Where do you think that team can stand? Not just in NA, because I think the expectation is they should be the best in NA.
Although I don't know if that's quite fair just yet.
I think just based off of principle.
We were just talking about super teams, Dennis.
But like, where do you think they can stand globally? Like, what's the next event that they're even going to? They've actually been removed from a bunch of tournaments.
Are they at Mykonos or?
I don't think so. They're not.
That's right, because they had that late roster entry.
Yeah.
They got dinked by ESL and then dropped from a bunch of other stuff.
From Premier, from Malmö, I think also.
From Malmö and from E-League, they were both dropped. Or they were dropped from both of those leagues. And then from Pro League, that's exactly right. They have a transition period where they have to, I think it was 3 players that they have to prove are residing in the United States.
Yeah.
Which,
really?
Short term, good fucking luck. That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. I got the article up here. OpTiC is expected to play at least 75% of matches from North America. That is at least 10, right?
Oh.
So unable to provide a plan acceptable to the league's administration, the organization would lose its license, the team would be disqualified, and their matches are nullified. Right. So basically, they have to get over to the United States and stay there for a good while, which is, and that's the only way that they're going to hold on to that. But I mean, you're right. When you Freiburg, as far as to my knowledge, has not called before. Might have, just on and off, on a hoot, right, and nip, but I don't think that, he's really taken on that kind of in-game leader role. And so what's going to have to happen here for Freiburg, and what's going to be really interesting, is that Freiburg doesn't have. So the reason why I think it works for Shoxy, to call, is because he's done it before, but he unwillingly. And I guess the biggest example of that was Epsilon. When he took over Epsilon, he didn't want to be calling; he wanted to be fragging, and that's. But he took it on because nothing but inexperienced players on that roster, and he had to make it work one way or another, right? And so he took on that calling thing. But as soon as he could get out of it, there you go, gets out of it, and everything's groovy again. The second time here on G2, he wanted to call, and he's got the support of an excellent analyst in NKJ and an excellent teammate that he's known basically his entire professional career, Smiths, who's got a mind for the game and who can help him, right? Yeah. So if you're going to go in, and so, all these things I think led to the success of Shoxy as an in-game leader and the success of G2, right? They have this infrastructure that's there to make sure that the guy who is calling is going to have what he needs to do the job right. Whereas here for OpTiC, I mean, even if Freiburg wants to take over the role as in-game leader, who does he have who's got 15 years experience in the scene, competing, right, to balance him out and help him out? It's all going to be on him. So if he pulls it off, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic performance and achievement from him, I would say, because he doesn't have any of the easy route, right, help. Yeah. So, but Freiburg is capable of it. I've known Adam for several years now. And I think that he has got the will to do it. It's just going to be very interesting. It's not going to be easy.
Well, we wish them the best. There was a lovely picture on Reddit today of all of them together in NA, unspecified location NA. So
totally in NA.
Yeah, totally not photoshopped. We talked a bit about Cloud9 a few minutes ago, and one of the players I was sad to see go was Shroud. Not the least of which reasons is because he's a good Canadian boy, and I want to see more of those guys. But he's taken a liking to this little game that you may have heard of called PUBG. I don't know. A couple people are playing it here and there.
I love that meme. I saw this meme. I'm gonna cut you off real quick just to put
go.
There, where it's like the meme that's been going around where it's like the guy walking with his girlfriend. Yeah, and he's like checking out that chick. Like, ooh, ooh. And it's like, so they obviously put the PUBG logo on the fucking hot chick, right? Yeah. Like, the CS:GO player base, like, ooh, and then CS:GO's looking at him like, I died. I was in tears.
Well, it's true.
That's the case, man. Yeah. It's shit. I'm playing PUBG a lot. Like, I'll only play CS now if my friends want to play. Because I can't stand it doing solo anymore. Matchmaking is a travesty. I just no. I did get into like the FPL grind and all that, like the face it and all that, grind for a bit. But again, it's just it's the social aspect. And when most of my friends are now playing PUBG, I'm just like, well, fuck it, let's play some PUBG. But then sometimes the itch will come back and you'll be like, no, fuck it, let's go play some CS, right? And then you get into CS and you're just like, oh, that guy's like hacking or whatever. And then you're just like, all right, let's go back to PUBG. Yeah. Like, Jesus, this lasted one game, guys. Yeah. There is one thing that's so satisfying about CS that you can come back and play CS with is that you actually, it feels so crisp after PUBG because PUBG is like really, floaty.
Yeah, it's really
the movement in that game isn't so nice and the aim isn't so nice, right? So you come back to CS and you're like, oh yeah, this is how an FPS should feel. But then you just get frustrated with it. So yeah. I mean, I've been playing a lot of PUBG. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I was just
no, not at all. Like that's exactly what I wanted to ask. Like if you've been playing it, your take on it, because I know we've seen some statistics that I feel like Dennis was about to quote. I don't know, but a huge amount of the CS player base is playing PUBG, and PUBG's Twitch viewership just overtook like freaking Dota at one point recently, right?
Dota took concurrent. Yeah.
LOL, yeah, LOL too.
Yeah.
And they had their first concurrent. Yeah, they had their first eSports event, which I think on our last podcast, Josh and Gabe, you roasted a bit, but you reviewed it.
I mean, it's just so different from CS.
Of course,
if you're a CS observer, like what are you going to do in PUBG, right? Which we talked about on the podcast, so I won't rehash it. But
yeah,
I mean,
need to bring Sapphire in. Everything will be good.
It's a unique challenge.
Oh yeah,
it's a unique challenge.
Get Sapphire and Prius.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
There you go.
Hey, fuck,
good.
get Steel.
Yeah.
He can actually work there. Can't work in CS.
Oh no!
Hey.
Oh no!
But you know,
Steel thump.
Just hey, Josh, get on that shit, man. You're already playing the game. Might as well.
Shout outs to another Canadian boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, shit, he should just go and play the damn game, and because the competitions. I think that PUBG is where CS was in 2013. You know that all of these everything. I mean, it's a massive. It's much more complicated, obviously, than hosting a CS tournament. And I don't even know if the future of PUBG is going to be LAN, but there's definitely a future for online. And then, you know, it's all just going to come down to whether the developers can kind of give us even just rudimentary tools of easily observing multiple, you know, like a match, right? You set up the server and you should be able to bounce around to whoever you want to see. And then if you pull up the map, you should be able to see everybody on the map, you know, that sort of stuff, right? Like even rudimentary tools, if they can implement that, why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you run online tournaments every weekend, for example? You know, just get in there and start doing things. I mean, this is it feels like exactly the same feeling that I had in 2013 with DreamHack, or not with DreamHack. That was 2013 was when we had DreamHack Winter, obviously. But when we were running Case King of the Hill and there was still space, and there was still space in the online, the pros weren't, you know, obscenely rich. You know, it's still possible to run small online tournaments, right, and get the best. PUBG is right there. So I can't see why you wouldn't be able to do the same thing with PUBG right now and just get this vibrant community going with PUBG. Doing LAN events, okay, that's going to be really difficult, and I think only the big boys can do that. You know, the ESL, like at Gamescom, etc. You know, the guys with Scratch and who have the experience. I think those guys can do it. But online, why not? And the pros right now, you know, you've got teams picking up pros who are consistently, like, the game has skill because these guys consistently get to the end of the game, not just camping, but by fragging everybody. So there's an element of skill and learning there that and there's obviously a massive community. And this is what I've always said about, you know, esports, right? You know, oh, we want to create an esports game. I was like, do you have a community? Oh, well, no, but that'll come because we're creating a...
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's not how it works, boys. You have to have a community first, and then that community will care enough about the game to watch the elite few, maybe not all the community, right? You know, you got League of Legends, like they get a fraction of their gaming player base, right, who actually watch LCS. But you can, you know, you need to have the community first, a successful game first, and then there will be that hardcore element to that game who want to see the best play that game. And then that's how it actually happens. And so PUBG right now, they're in the best possible situation.
Yeah.
They have the community. They're destroying everybody. They're going to be the biggest game on Steam. Just get in there. Just start doing it. Get online tournaments going. Start having fun with the game.
I want to ask Semmler, because it sounds like you and a lot of your friends are playing this game, and
Yeah.
it's something, yeah. And I mean, it's the same for my group of friends as well. Like, I'm pretty sure all of us, like pretty much everybody in the office owns a game.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is a big question, but what do you think has made this game so popular in such a short period of time? Like, it has absolutely blown up. It's like unlike anything we've seen for a long time, maybe ever. I don't know. Like, it's huge. Right?
It's more popular than Dota and CS at certain points. Like, it's critical mass right now.
So I don't know. From your own experience, Semmler, is there a specific thing that you think has made this game so successful over some of the competitors, maybe?
The personalities involved. So you have the big three on Twitch who are streaming it constantly, right? You got Lyric, you got Summit, you got Shroud. That's any of these guys put their stream up right now, they're getting 30,000 viewers, right? So, and usually to get that kind of like, let's take World of Battleships or whatever the fuck game, you know, when Lyric played that, you better bet your ass he wasn't doing that for free. So free promotion for your game from the big three on Twitch day in, day out for PUBG is like, holy hell. Like, that's massive reach. That's so insane. Like, the casual gaming, we're not talking esports here, the casual gaming community is just getting blasted by these guys with this game nonstop. Because I'll go back and watch Lyric playing Alien, whatever. Oh, that sick game. I remember watching it too. It was so sick. What was it? Alien...
Isolation?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was up until 4 a.m. when I was supposed to work at 8. You know, like, but I was watching Lyric, and it was fucking hilarious to watch him play it. You know, but I loved it, right? You know, and that game got so much hype because these streamers were playing it, like Lyric, etc. PUBG has benefited from that in a massive way, and also I think just ease. The big thing why I even got into Overwatch is because the games were shorter than CS. Because if like CS now is like you have to commit at least half an hour to 45 minutes to a game of CS, right? And as I get older, I have less and less spare time, and so when I'm like, oh, I have a whole night and I can just fucking zonk out and play video games, yeah, okay, the CS is gonna get in there, right? Because I know I got hours, it's all good, I'm gonna play. But if I know, oh man, I've only got a couple hours, you know, I gotta or even an hour and a half, you know, and then I gotta go do stuff. It's like I used to play Overwatch. Overwatch pissed me off. Fuck that game. So then PUBG. And then PUBG is great. You just drop into school every game. Either you frag everybody, or that's it. You just relaunch it in 2 seconds. You got a new server. You got a new game.
So you gotta do. Yeah.
And you're on again, right? It's so easy, and it's so easy to get in and just keep rolling games, dude. The last time that I had a full day, my girlfriend was out. She was like camping or something, right? You know, and one of my best buddies was on as well, and his girlfriend was out. So we're just like, oh my, this is great. Like we have the whole day. I literally sat there. I had pizza in the fridge. I had fucking, you know, a bottle of whiskey. I was like, we're not moving these chairs. We must have played like 12 hours of PUBG straight without even stopping. Just PUBG all the way. Because you get those games, and I think that's the key thing is that game. This is why, you know, when people talk, you know, oh, H1Z1 or PUBG, what's better? I'm just like, I tried H1Z1. I tried. I played like 15 hours of that game, 20 hours of that game, you know. I tried it. I got frustrated. I felt like all you had to do was drop, find an AK, and then you're good to fight, right? And it's like, cool. That's good, but if you get jumping shotgun to the face, you're just like, well, okay, whatever, fuck it. Like, that's not that. It wasn't as much fun. Whereas PUBG, you have to find that happy medium with looting, but you feel it's like an MMO FPS.
Yeah.
Because you're running around for 5 minutes, you're like, shit. Okay, I gotta find stuff, and then you find that sniper, you find that Kar 98, and you find that sniper suppressor, and you're like, oh, boy, I am God, dude. I had a game the other day. Okay, we'll use this right now. PUBG, fucking fix the cliffs on the military island, please, because I was on the brink of tears the other day. I was on the brink of tears. I had an SKS fully kitted out, you know, fucking suppressor and everything 8 times. And I had the M416 fully suppressed, fully kitted out. I was like, oh my God, I am going to fucking wreck everybody now. And that's the feeling you get from PUBG. And I think that's what is like a big key to their success is that when you find the good loot, when you get lucky or you kill a bunch of people and then you just harvest loot and all that. But once you get to that moment where you're just like, I am the Dreadnought. I am the Juggernaut, bitch. I'm just going to run now. You're feeling really fucking good about that game. You're like, okay, let's go. And then I fell into a goddamn cliff and couldn't get out.
Oh no!
I was so mad. I was like, I got the boat. The boat was there. I was like, dude, this game is blessed. The boat is there. I'm running to the beach. I'm like, I wonder if there's gonna be a boat because it's finishing on military. I'm like, I wonder if there's gonna be a boat. Boat's waiting for me. I'm like, oh, get into the boat. Go, you know, I'm gonna do this. Drive to the island. Oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'll be clever and get up on the cliffs. I fell into a goddamn hole in the cliffs. Oh. Just couldn't get out.
Oh no.
Oh my God. That's so brutal.
I was like, this fucking game. I just sat and stared at my screen for like 3 minutes. I was like, this can't be. No, there's got to be a way out. Crouch, jump.
There's only one way out. There's only one way out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, only one way out. Uninstall on Steam.
No, it's a grenade. Grenade straight up in the air.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, everybody's had that kind of feeling as well playing the game. You know, you get caught on a fence while you're jumping or something, and you get shot. Now, you know, like there are things in the game where you are just like fucking hell, you know. But at the same time, the fun of that game outweighs it, right? You get some sweet Kar 98 headshot. I can still remember frags where it's like, oh my God, did I hit that? It's like those moments are what bring you back to the game because you want more.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done a really good job with.
Yeah.
It's just like, ooh. I mean, it's kind of that's why CS was good. CS takes more time to get good at, obviously, and the devs put some hacks into the game as well. You know, like one-shot headshot with P250 and all that sort of bullshit. But you know, there are those feelings in CS as well, where it's like you hit some sick flick with the AK, or you get some sick, you know, like one tap with the AK. You're just like, ooh, with the AWP, whatever. But like, you know, you just like you get some of those moments where you're like, ooh, I want more of that. So CS has that, but PUBG just feels like it's more fun to play with your mates almost, and it's quicker, and I think that's the key to success for them.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting that you mentioned the moments in the game, because I felt like they sort of distilled and harnessed some of the things that the Battlefield series did really well, where like something crazy would happen and people would be like, oh, what? And then you see it on the Reddit, or you see it on Twitter or whatever. Somebody would link a GIF and you'd be like, how did that even happen? And you see that all the time in PUBG, where it's like people just mini biking on balconies and shooting people, or people flipping cars or jumping out of boats. And yeah, I don't know. It's just distilled that awesome moment. And it's
what always
crazy.
blows my mind are like the long range shots, right?
Yeah,
You know, where it's like some guy's posted up with an M24 and he hits some guy from like a kilometer away. And you're just like, or when somebody just one taps like headshot. I mean, obviously it's like the lucky shot or whatever, but it's like just going by on the motorcycle. It's like boom, and you're just like, all right. So there are like some moments in that game where you're just like, ooh, that must have hurt. You know, that hurt his ego right there. That, you know, that.
Yeah. Talking about that distillation, actually. Because you're a World of Warcraft player as well. When you're talking about getting those drops and stuff like that, like when you get that M24, that's your purple, that's your immortal, that's the drop that you needed right
legendary.
there. But it's like
that's the legendary that isn't shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what turned me off with WoW, baby.
Yeah.
Like I had fucking 6 legendary drops, all of them garbage.
Oh my god.
Not a single one that was like a top DPS legendary.
Oh my god.
Literally got the legendaries that weren't for DPS.
Yeah,
you like
So I
that.
was like,
You like that
actually,
pride
fuck
as.
you, game.
You like that. You like that pride as Semmler. That neck
Dude,
that
I
gives you
was
the
so
shield.
mad. I was like grinding and everything, like fire mage, just getting in that shit, like, oh yeah, I'm raiding and everything. And then these other fire mages who have got the legendaries are just beasting me on DPS. I'm like, I don't know what I can do. I can't. Like, I'm trying. I'm not far off.
Hey.
But if I had like even one of their legendaries, then hey, then we're cooking, right?
Yeah.
But you're taking less damage though,
yeah.
Semmler. I mean, that pride as shield.
Yo,
though,
that's
it's so good.
that's
Yeah, it's called
survivability,
Lincoln
though.
Ice block, motherfucker. Like, not fucking scrub. Like, come on. Oh yes, it was the same thing for my rogue. You know, I got 2 legendaries. I got the neck that gives you a barrier and the pants that regen your HP when you hit
Oh,
faint.
nice.
I was just like, oh yes, great. I will hit faint. It already like diminishes damage taken. Do I need
my
it to
gosh.
regen my HP? No, I don't know. I was
anyways.
Side rant.
that's what
Anyways,
you guys
yeah.
can tell. Like, put a lot of hours in a while. But man, I was so mad. Those legendaries.
Memories of WoW and PUBG hype. It's a game I don't play anymore, and a game I think I'm the only person in the world who hasn't tried yet. My computer's not
No,
good
Duncan
enough.
hasn't either. Don't worry, Duncan hasn't either.
Oh really? Okay, I'm in good company then.
Duncan plays CS. Which
Yeah.
is fun because he plays CS at like silver or whatever. But
Yeah.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. But,
You can't say that.
Duncan plays CS. He gets pissed. It's fun.
Yo, I would be scared to play with or against him. Like the rage I could imagine.
Oh no,
Just
He stopped talking. He doesn't talk. In
Oh, he's a quiet rager.
that's good.
Oh,
I don't talk
He's
either.
seething.
Wait, so does he never talk, or does he only stop talking when he's like angry?
Oh man, I feel like I'm ratting on my phone.
I'm just wondering, because I'm one of those people that like when things go really bad, I stop talking. When things are really bad, I just shut up. People know, they're like, oh
That's
no,
Anders.
he's upset.
Okay, I can rat on Anders, but Anders, he's like that, where he gets really quiet, or he just talks less and less. You know, if shit's not going his way, if he isn't hitting his shots, he just gets quieter and quieter and quieter. And then you're just like, all right, that's it. This isn't, it's over. He's in like black rage mode now.
See, I'm a never talker. That's why I'm not good at team games, because I hate human beings. Which is why I should probably try PUBG, because you can be alone and you can like
Yeah, you can
totally
just play
like
solo.
lone
Yeah.
wolf that shit, right?
You can play solo,
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
Dude, solo first person, man. Ever since that's going to be the big thing I think for these tournaments, right? If PUBG is going to push forward and have a competitive scene, right? Not the standard esports mold, but like a competitive scene. It's all got to be in first person, because once that came out, I was starting to get frustrated with third person, and it kind of turned me off to the game. I wasn't really interested in it because the number of times you've got a guy just sitting behind a wall watching you come, and then he pre-fires you as you come around the corner. You're like, well,
Yeah.
cool, But as soon as first person came out, I was like, this is how the game has got to be played.
Mhm.
This is it. And so that's, I think, going to be the future to like competitive and like streaming and just playing the game. Like ever since first person came out, I've like really loved the game, really enjoyed it a lot, because you feel like it's more aggressive and you got to take risks. You actually have to take risks. You can't just sit there and like, oh, okay. You get to those last 10 and everybody's in the high grass, just sitting there with the camera looking for the others, It's like, no, you gotta crouch up, you gotta show yourself. Oh, but you gotta take that educated risk, right? So it adds to the skill level rather than just being like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here. Oh, but this is skillful. I'm swiveling my camera around. They can't see me, but I can see them. Like,
Yeah.
no, sorry, bro. Like,
Yeah.
It's not.
Well,
Yeah.
could you even imagine like a third person like CS
Counter-Strike?
Like it would just
Oh my god.
like there's so many bomb sites where you could just walk up to the wall and then just pan your camera around and be like, oh, okay, yeah, the guy's lurking there. Like it's just and I don't know. I agree with you on first person. First person's awesome. I hope it does become the default format because it is sad to watch people just in the second floor of a building just panning their camera around like they're a lighthouse or a human lighthouse and they're just like looking around for people. It's terrible. I hate it. So
And it's slow, and
Yeah.
that will be the key for because that was one of the big what I guess bits of criticism that they got at Gamescom is that it was slow sometimes because you have third person, because nobody wants to make the move and because they can see everything without having to look and take risks, right? And so that's slow. Whereas if you have the first person, there will be a lot more action because I mean, obviously it eliminates that style of play. So that's the key, I think. Yeah. First person will really make it fun to watch PUBG. I mean, I've enjoyed watching streams since and playing.
Yeah, we definitely need that watchability. That's like not to branch off into a whole conversation. We don't have too much time left, but that is one of my major.
Dude, we got all the time in the world. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. We know you got places to be. Your favorite place is, of course, the theScore Esports podcast, but there are other places. There are other places. I'm an esports curmudgeon, I think, and one of the reasons that I hate watching a lot of esports is the observing, right? Like I like Overwatch. I can't watch Overwatch. It's just all this bullshit is happening all at the same time. And I play Smite, right? I can't watch Smite. The camera's 10,000 meters from the ground, and you can't tell what's going on or whatever. You need that. CS is the best to watch. It's so visceral. It's so much fun, And if PUBG can harness that, I'll be there. I'll watch.
I mean, if you want to get interesting about the whole Overwatch thing, if you are outside in the scene, it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole Overwatch thing goes. And by interesting, I mean you can take it. Usually when people say like, "Oh, this is going to be fucking scary," or "Shitball's crazy," they say, "Oh no, that's going to be interesting." Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that pans out.
It is frightening.
Overwatch League, baby. If that burns, if that does not launch, which I'm wondering if it will or not. I think it's a stretch. Man, that is the question where you wonder, is it going to blow back on the rest of esports?
Yeah, it's pretty worrying considering the big names are actually going into Overwatch League as well. Like
it's frightening
because people talk, right? People talk like if all those big names are like fuck esports, like what does that say for like the rest of the scene?
Investment, right? It's a small world, man.
Yeah.
Those the guys who have the money, that's a small little family, and they all talk to each other.
Yeah.
So they're all going to what their vacation mansion for a barbecue, and they're just like, oh yeah, that esports thing, yeah, fuck that shit. It's just like
esports is
there you
down.
go.
Sell esports.
Wow, you have quite a grasp on the investor mentality there, Dennis.
Here. Buy low, sell high.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Oh, is that how it works? Oh man, I've been doing it the op. No wonder.
That's why we're in esports. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your profit margins are looking bad.
It's true though. It's frightening, but at the same time, the NA LCS franchising could be the other end of the spectrum. That could be a big success, and that could breed a lot of positivity. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
I'm not
I
willing.
don't know how any of these guys make their money back in the next 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years.
30.
I thought you were going to say in the next couple years. Wow. 30 years.
How like
Well, no, Lurpus. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But Lurpus, who is actually in the real world an investment banker, he did some of the numbers on this stuff where he's like, okay, take they invest this and da, and like he did the numbers on just. He just put some freaky numbers out there where he's just like, right, if I was an investment banker and I was looking at investing in this and I was thinking that this would be how much I put in at the beginning and he was just like, I could expect to make my money back in 30 years, 20 years, 30 years time.
Jesus.
Or never. So he's like, from the perspective of it was just like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
You have to wonder, you have to wonder how all of this happens. You know, that's not to throw Lurpus under the bus, but you know, it was fun reading up on that because it was just like, okay. Yeah, not sure. I don't know. It's like, it's good to be bold, and I think that's exactly what Blizzard are trying to do. They're trying to be bold. They're trying to get out there and trying to say, right, real world, you know, this is what we're about, this is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to do going forward. And do you want to be a part of the party train, or do you want to be on the outside looking in? You know, you got to go for that every now and again. And, you know, Blizzard, a big brand like that, backed up by Activision, that's really interesting, and that's a bold strategy. I just wonder if, and there's always going to be naysayers, and I guess I am one right now, but I wonder if, you know, if it doesn't pan out, because we haven't seen fantastic numbers from Overwatch. They've done a fantastic job of killing the grassroots scene in Overwatch. Yeah. So, you know, with all of this. So if it doesn't pan out, because Overwatch has a lot working against it as far as watching the game and as far as, you know, even playing the game. Personally, I can't play the game anymore. It's going to be really interesting for the rest of esports, I think. Because you're messing with some big people now and some big money, and if you burn that bridge, if you poison that well, it's going to be real fun for the rest of us.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that. There's a lot of that going on now in esports. It's a pretty exciting time, although unfortunately I don't think we'll see it anytime soon with CS. Maybe the next iteration of the game will not make statements like terrorist win every other round.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Well, I don't know. Ask the IOC. Not that, you know, we let them dictate what we do in esports and what's relevant and what we like to watch. Certainly not.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn video game.
This is true.
Listen, if the James Bond series of films taught me anything, it's that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, okay?
I'll let you guys in on something. Right? When we started doing E-League, that's when I started stressing out about a lot of this shit, right? You know, like what will, you know, we're trying to appeal to a broader market here, and what are they going to think if we say counter-terrorists and terrorists? And so, you know, and apparently, obviously, I'm not the first. It's not like any of this is new. Apparently, Stu Pot used to do this back in the day, right? Where it's like offense and defense. Oh, that's what I'll say. And I started overthinking everything, and it took a lot of the joy out of it. It just took a lot of the joy out of it all of a sudden, where you're overthinking everything that you're saying. Like, oh, how could this be perceived? And how could this be perceived? And oh my God, I don't want to offend these people. And oh, what will they think? And I want to make sure that they understand. And blah, 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 blah. And you just realize I'm overthinking every goddamn thing. And you start thinking, well, what the fuck if you're saying counter-terrorists or terrorists? It's a game. It's the game. That is the game. I am literally talking about the game that we are playing, right? And so does that have anything to do with, you know, the terrorists and counter-terrorists, et cetera? And I mean, terrorist is such a convenient word when it comes to the real world as well. Just the fact that, you know, it's like anybody could be a terrorist, motherfucker. That's why they love the word. That's why the word is so convenient. It's just like, actually, everybody can be a terrorist. Because what? Oh, because they do something that causes fear. But, you know, that's like, that could be anything. That could be anybody. Oh, fantastic. We found our golden word. All right, but that's me going off on a silent tangent. It's fun.
It's fair enough, like totally fair enough. I mean, I don't think anyone in this particular room has an actual problem with it. It's just like you said. I always just think like, yeah, Mom. So I'm the terrorist or whatever, and it's like, but at some point, I guess that becomes irrelevant because, I mean. Well, I was going to say everyone in this room becomes the people who make the decisions, becomes the generation in power. Yeah. But shit, we're all old people. I actually don't know how old you are, Semmler, but I'm 29. Josh, you're 30?
Thanks a lot, by the way.
29.
Just for
29.
Okay.
29.
So
We're all old men. We're all old men.
Dennis is 47. No, I'm kidding.
No, 30.
30? Yeah. So I guess we already are that generation.
Kind of, but even still, like the baby boomer generation is still kind of like
Those
has
bastards.
a scary influence. Like I joke about this all the time. I'm like, man, I can't wait till they all die.
Whoa,
those are our moms and dads, man.
Can you even say that?
Come on.
Yeah, but your mom and your dad are like they're not retards.
Yeah.
You think? No, I'm kidding. They're wonderful people. They're very enlightened.
Hey, your mom.
Oh shit! Oh shit! It's a lot coming out on this podcast.
This is something. I mean, this is something that is. It has nothing to do with generation or what name you want to name the generation or anything like that. It has everything to do with the fact that change is something that is difficult to deal with. And if you've been doing something for a long time, when change rears its ugly head, that can be something that either you can adapt to and figure out, or you don't. and you just say, but we've been doing it this way for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and why would we change up how we're doing things, right? And that's why companies fall out, and that's why companies, flourish, is their ability to constantly change. And so, it has nothing to do with, baby boomers or millennials or whoever the fuck. No, it has everything to do with, a person's ability to change or accept change. And so, these what baby boomers or anything like that, retards. I'm just throwing that out as fun. I mean, really, it really is just like, okay, when you're dealing with the marketing manager of a massive company, are they going to sign off on what you're putting on the table, or are they going to say, no, we're not interested in dealing with this game because it involves counterterrorism and terrorism, and we don't want to tie our brand to that. You're just like, okay, well, can't really say anything against that, right? So it is going to take time to educate these brands that it's just a goddamn video game, but that's really hard. That's like really hard. I don't know who's been able to pull that off yet.
Speaking of failure to adapt, shout out to Blockbuster.
Why?
Blockbuster?
What's Dr. Disrespect got anything to do with this?
They failed to adapt. Now they are in the tar pits with so many other companies. Sorry.
Yeah, Blockbuster almost bought Netflix, didn't they, at the very beginning?
Yeah,
they had the,
they
had the
Holy shit.
opportunity
to sell. Yeah.
But
Netflix came to them, I think, right?
yes, they did. But like again, the other thing, I don't really want to go too in depth on Blockbuster. I just wanted to take a shot.
Yeah, that
at
was really
Blockbuster.
weird.
I'm sorry. I listened to this great podcast that wasn't this one.
Then it's
though
not
this one's
that
another great
really.
But yeah, anyways.
I'm sorry for disappointing you. That wasn't this one.
Yeah. Come on. Why are you
Well,
insulting
we
our
could
guest
talk
right
about
now?
Blockbuster if you want. Like if you
I was
want.
actually planning for the last 10 minutes. This never happened, but I was actually planning to go all the way back and to downsize this conversation. I hate to do it because now we're this close to solving the world's
We're on a
problems at this
journey.
point.
Yeah.
We're on
This
a
close.
journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I did actually want to ask Semmler if you during your couch casting of Malmö, you caught some of the social media stuff about some of the computers dropping frames, problems with them. Zeus put out a tweet longer alleging perhaps a formation of yet another possible players union.
That is.
It was right after he
I
lost.
know
I'm just
exactly
saying
what
that.
you're talking about. It's the most silly. This shows that it's really interesting, when it comes to the players, because some of them are getting paid $25,000 a year, or no, not even 25,000 euros a month, right? So it's just like these guys are supposed to be craftsmen, artists. They're supposed to know everything through and through. And and a craftsman, he knows his tools. And so when you are a professional gamer, what is your most valuable tool? What travels with you everywhere you go? I've said it in the past. I don't give a fuck about anything so long as my PC survives the apocalypse, then it will be fine, right? Yeah. So long as I move, the PC comes with me, and that's all I need. I can live in a shack so long as I have my PC. I'm good, right? But what do you need to do? You need to know how to maintain it. You need to know how to fix it. You need to know all of these things, and it's astounding how many professional players have no fucking idea how a PC works.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea how anything on their computer works apart from clicking Counter-Strikes, is my config, and their config, they probably just copy pasted it. They don't know what anything does. They don't know, like a guide, how does that do it? Jordan, can you tell me real quick how okay, cool, it's like these guys have no idea. And so, my PC, I'm dropping. It's probably because the admin has to come over and be like, did you what have you touched? Did you I've heard this, right? Where it's just like, did you delete your drivers again?
Oh my God.
And this happens. And then what happens is that the players take no responsibility, and they instantly, because it's so easy not to take responsibility when you know that you have a golden out. And I've seen this not just with the players, but with commentators, with everybody, right? Everybody loves to bitch. And if you can bitch and you know that you've got the golden out over here, that the community will back you on, that everybody will back you on, and everybody just nod their head and be like, oh yeah, man, that's rough. Oh man, it's so easy to just be like, well, fuck this tournament organizer. The PCs, oh my God, dropping down to and like, it's so easy because the community will just latch onto that and be like, oh my God, because the community have an unhealthy way of looking at pros and what they say is gospel.
Yeah.
He can't possibly be wrong. He can't possibly, not know what's going on. Oh, what he says, but what it's so easy to just fall into that when the reality is that the players have no idea. The majority, we'll say, I'm not going to throw them all in there, but like the majority have no idea how the PCs work, what they need to do, and what they need to check when they actually get prepared for a tournament. And so that's why even today we constantly, like DreamHack, we constantly had problems where it's just like, oh, we're live with the game. Nope, I guess not, because we need to go and fix this guy's PC for some basic thing that took 30 seconds. Okay, now we're back live with the game, right? It's like these players. I've heard of players who have. Oh man, shit. Who was the perfect? Oh man, what was his name? They're OG players, right? Who literally who could do their. Oh, it was Lurpus. Lurpus figured out that, like, this is what he was telling me, right? Like, I could do my config blindfolded. Like, I could sit down at any PC. I would sit down, and I could have it perfectly set and prepped and ready to go within the span of like 3 minutes. So you would just give me a PC. And I would have everything ready to go, perfectly done, in the span of like just a couple minutes, right? And then I'd be ready to play the tournament game. And he can't. And it's just, it's one of the conversations that you have. And you've had this. I've had this with a couple players where there's like, yeah, like I know, but the majority, which you have to realize, is that the majority have no idea. And so when Zeus comes together, like the player union shall band together and take down the oppressive tournament organizers who will only give us wooden tools to work with. I see aluminum tools over there. Why can't we have those aluminum tools? It's like, or whatever, steel, I guess, I don't know, aluminum is light. But like, it actually boggles my mind that the players are this stupid. Because really, it's your job. It's your job to know how your tools work, this nice PC, what you need to perform at your best, no matter what. Like, these are the kinds of things where it's like, you get paid so much money. How do you not know these things? And so, fair enough. Sometimes there will be a problem. Seen it happen. DreamHack Masters Vegas, the admins, thankfully it was the day before, they found something that was screwing things up with the PCs. It took them like 12 hours to find this one thing that was screwing things up with the PCs. It was unreal. I felt so bad for them, and I was just like, okay, here's a hug, right? Yeah. Because they just found something. And sometimes this happens. And so sometimes, yes, it will be something that's out of your control if you're a player. But the majority of the time when Stewie is tweeting, oh, Shroud doesn't have NVIDIA on his PC, it's just like,
Jesus, yeah.
It's
that was real, yeah.
The admin walks over and with 2 clicks brings up the NVIDIA page. It's just like, oh, And that's the thing, is that people like to have an easy out. They like to be like, oh, I can bitch for free here because the community will lynch these people. I don't have to prove anything. And, oh, it will get fixed because if I go to the community, the TO will feel the pressure and it will get fixed. I mean, Nixon from DreamHack in this exact issue here, he went and made a post on Reddit in regards to Zeus's announcement about some idiot player organization. Yeah. And he said, oh, well, the players came to us on the day 1 and it was fixed by day 2. And if the players can't communicate with us or they don't communicate with us, we can't fix the problem. And that, I think, is the main thing, is that the players don't have managers. They don't have anybody there for like a chain of command or a chain of communication that actually goes towards the TO. And so they feel like, oh, but if I tweet to the community, then I get instant results. And so why am I going to go and talk to the TO who might blow me off, who might not fix it, when if I just tweet to the community, oh, it's fixed. And right? And so you're just thinking here like, but if you just went and talked to the proper, like if you went through the chain, it mostly, like 90% of the time, it will get fixed. I mean, the TO is not here to screw with you. They want to give you the best. They legitimately want to give you the best playing conditions possible. Every one of them want to do the best for you. It's just a matter of communication. But then this thing happens where it's just like free brownie points. It's like, oh, the community. Oh, Zeus, thank you, man. You talked, you spoke for him. Here's a pat on the back. Oh, here's another pat on the back. Oh, we love you, bro. It's just an easy way to jerk yourself off to the community, and I don't like it. I mean, I think you can tell. Yeah. But it's just, man. If you were just professional, in the real sense of the word, if you were professional and took it through professional channels, most of the time that problem will be fixed.
What, twit longers aren't professional? What?
Yo, twit Twitlongers are esports.
That's what I've been learning at my time at theScore eSports.
By the way,
Twitlonger is a press release.
CEOs on Twitlonger.
Yeah. With grammar and spelling errors all.
Yeah.
The name of my cover band will be Twitlonger Manifesto. So if you want to join, let me know. You have to have Twitlonger like skills though, so hit me up.
I hate to break it to you, but I think your cover band's name is a little time sensitive. It's going to be dated real soon.
That's good. That's will be super indie then. Like people will be like, "Do you even know what Twitlonger means, man?"
You weren't around. You don't know. You don't know what it was like.
On that note.
Semmler, we should probably let you get on with your life. We do appreciate you helping us solve the world's problems. It was legitimately a fascinating discussion, as always, in regards to CS, PUBG, and everything else we talked about. Before we do let you go and probably get some sleep for that 6 a.m. flight, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to, or any final thoughts you wanted to give?
Well, it wasn't a part of the show, and it's the end of the show. But what is interesting is that, or what could be interesting, it is the end of the show. But what could be interesting, and I haven't spoken about it, and nobody's really spoken about it, but it's kind of just been there, right? And people have been questioning, right, what's going on. But there has been, Anders and I are on a hiatus together as a commentary duo.
Oh,
so
actually,
just going to go ahead and throw that out there, and so we'll have this perhaps because people can clip it or whatever, right?
Oh,
but one thing that people, or that this could be something that people understand, is that Anders and I are on on a break, and so he's casting with Moses right now, and I'm exploring different projects like the couch we did at Malmö and other projects that I've got coming up towards the end of the year. And we're kind of just figuring things out right now, taking a break. And so that is something that is kind of I guess, newsworthy, just because people were asking a lot this weekend about oh, why aren't you there? And why isn't this? And it's just because we're experimenting with different things. And right now we got to the point where it's just let's take a break and figure things out.
Okay. So actually, I was going to ask you after you made that initial statement if that was the reason that Anders was at Malmö with Moses and you weren't there. I simply assumed that you were still on your vacation. You were like, nah, I don't really want to do it.
yeah.
No. He's going to be casting with Moses for a while. And, this is, essentially that's how it's going down, is that Anders will cast with Moses and that I will be freelance. So to all the TOs, if any TOs are listening to this, I'm on the market.
That's so interesting. What?
And there has been a divide.
Interesting. What can you speak a bit more about that? Is this well, not to ask a hard question, but is this a professional decision or is this a personal decision?
No, we didn't have some kind of falling out or anything like that. I mean, it's fun because I wanted to talk a bit about it with you guys because last time we spoke, we had quite the heartfelt discussion as well as to why everything was going ham with me. And it does kind of tie into that again. Basically things change. Let's say that real life catches up with you eventually. And so you're constantly on the quest for happiness, right? And so eventually, things were really rough towards the beginning of the year, right? We were struggling I was struggling to be happy and to be an easy person to be around, right? And eventually, right, we ended up having that kind of break in around May, June, right, where we had quite a bit of time off, and then we came back into the major qualifiers and all that sort of stuff. And it was enough time for me to start, putting myself back together again and figuring out casting, all that. And but I think that was on my side, but then Anders, can't speak for Anders, but he also had some shit going on his side. And I think it was really just neither of us are happy, neither of us are there, and we need to kind of figure out how to change things up here so that we're having fun again, right?
Yeah.
And so right now it's kind of that break, we're on a break.
Right.
And I've made the joke in the past, when you're on a break, well, but we're on a break, and I'm treating it as something where basically I get all the space I want to just. It's interesting because both of us have been together for 4.5 years now or so. So I mean, it's now I can just kind of be I want to do this tournament in a different way, host, or maybe I'm going to go and do this project and I don't have anybody else to think about in a way. So it's interesting. We're both kind of free in a sense. But Anders does have Moses to cast with, so that should be, apart from E-League, where we will have more of a rotation, where we're all going to be, I'm casting with E-League, and we're all going to be kind of like rotating around and experimenting there, which I appreciate from E-League because we haven't done that in a long time. It should be Anders and Moses moving forward, and myself, figuring out more of a merc than anything.
So I guess the elephant in the room, going back to kind of how excited you were talking about your playing PUBG, and I guess if you remember this, I asked about this when I spoke to you in Cologne about a year ago or two. Would you get into PUBG casting or Street Fighter? Because I know that you're a big Street Fighter guy. So is that I think timing for Street Fighter and PUBG is kind of good to kind of branch out, considering the growth of both scenes. Is that an option, or are you sticking in CS:GO?
I would need to stay. I would need to spend a lot more time with Street Fighter 5 to decide if I really enjoy it or not. Lack of a fighting stick right now. My fighting stick broke, so I just haven't been playing fighting games for a while, right?
Yeah. I'm sure you'll get taken care of in that regard if you tweet out.
Yeah, no kidding.
To be honest.
But I don't like that, I don't like
that.
Yeah. But Anders, whatever, Anders. Street Fighter 5, I don't know, man. I don't know if I feel the hype from that game the way I felt for 4, right? Because 4, there were still some. I mean, I guess you can still do it in Street Fighter 5. I just need to spend more time with the game, really. I just need to spend more time with the game. So, but right now, like, really, what I'm enjoying is PUBG, and so I could branch out a little bit. I mean, really, it's about, like, it's interesting because I could get down and just be like, oh my god, it's all over, like all that sort of shit. But really, what I'm thinking about is like, okay, this is an opportunity to get back into what I used to do, which is a variety of things, not just casting, because casting has drawn us, has just absorbed everything for like 4 years now, right? Where it's just casting. And I'm wondering about getting into, because back when I started, StarCraft 2, et cetera, right? It was hosting, it was interviews, it was a variety of different things that kind of challenged me. And so, PUBG is one of them. Maybe cast, host, do something there. Maybe cast, host, analyze CS. Getting back into interviews. I'm trying to just figure out what to do. Like what interests me right now. So PUBG is one of them. But for now, at least, I'm kind of like free. So. Okay. Cool. It's good.
That's good.
If you had your pick of the litter, just going back to the straight casting, if you had your pick of the litter, who would you want to cast with?
DDK.
Nice. He's good.
You know what my fantasy casting pick is?
Oh, no.
You'll like it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you will. I just said that.
Okay, cool.
Semmler and Sponge.
No, Sponge is too much of a diva.
Really? Actually?
Because he's got that player thing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That he carried on with the player, even though they never did anything that was worth a damn. He's just he's got that player thing,
Yeah.
And I mean, man, I don't know, man. That's like I haven't too much of a diva. It's just, man. Sometimes they can say shit where I'm just. You have to wonder where it's just like, dude, did you like think through a little bit on what the process was there or anything? And he sometimes act like where it's just like things should just be fixed. I'm like, but did you ask a question or did you tell them anything? And they're like, no. I'm like, but then was it just supposed to fix itself by magic? Like,
Yeah.
It's just like the players. That's how they see it, and that's why I say he's got a player thing, because the players just expect things to get fixed by magic. Like all the mods all the admins need to be mind readers and actually just be able to like download your perception of reality and understand what's wrong and what's right. Right. And then they will read it all and fix it. And so Chad has that sometimes. And I talked with him where he was complaining about something, and I was just like, did you ask this? And he was like, no, that didn't occur to me. I was like, well, maybe next time. That being said, Chad is a great bloke, but no, I wouldn't want to. I would want to work with DDK, and the reason why I would want to work with DK is because, and I mean, Barnolf will love this, but in the past, when we have casted together, we really enjoyed it. And recently we've been getting like closer together because he does gymnastics and I do a lot of climbing. And so like on the fitness side of things, you know, like nutrition and we've been getting like closer on that side of things, right? Where it's just like we send each other like, you know, podcasts and stuff like that and like share information on like, oh, but this, I heard this works good and this you know, and so we begin. Cool. So it's like I feel like there could be okay, so on the outside of things, which is important, right? You know, on the outside of things, I think that we have a lot of fun together. He came over to Stockholm a couple weeks ago to visit, you know, and like spend the weekend, and we like went climbing and did some gymnastics and stuff. But like in the game as well, what I remember clearly is that last time we casted together, I felt really good about it, had a lot of fun with him, and I felt like we had a good back and forth. So it's like in my mind, you know, it would be fun to cast with DDK, and I will, because we're going to do E-League together. And so awesome. There will be that rotation there, and then we'll see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if I can't cast anymore, I can't cast anymore. Although it would bother me quite a bit, because it was fun. I was kind of worrying about this a little bit over the holidays, like what am I going to do now? You know, what do I mean? You know, like, because casting has been the meaning of my life for like 4 years. So it's like, well, what do I mean now? You know? And we went over to Atlanta to do this pre-show, and that 5 minutes on camera where I just felt like so good, just doing that 5 minutes on camera. I felt like just you know, really nice, good, energetic, like happy. And I'm like, all right,
that's good.
All right, that was what I needed to know, because it had been like a month of just sitting around like, I'm not sure, you know, like, okay, you know, thinking about this, thinking about that, but not really having anything concrete. And when I did that, I was like, oh, okay, no, I really feel good doing this. So it makes me think that I will try and keep being like at least on camera and doing things. Now, what it is, I'm trying to figure out.
I want to ask a little bit, because you were a part of what I think a lot of CS fans would consider a very iconic duo.
No kidding.
And this is something that seems to be a pattern with duos in any sort of medium, even radio. That eventually, if one of the two feels like they need a little bit more space, or they need the ability to try new things, how do you view the duo to this point with you and Anders? And is it a situation where ultimately, like, you just felt like you couldn't expand within that duo?
You know what I mentioned earlier with the players, where, you know, you're talking about the team and then you can't really talk about what's going on with the team.
Got it.
You know, this kind of treads on that line.
Okay.
Where, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When we, not gonna lie, to be frank, which is the better way to say it, because when you say, you know, yeah, not gonna lie, or, you know, what is the other one that's just used? It's to speak truthfully, or to speak. Right? You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna speak truthfully. That implies that you lie a lot, so don't do that. Just to be frank. You know, to speak frankly, we have had that kind of feeling for a little bit, where you get comfortable, and I think that's why Anders wants to do it. Is that he needs to feel like he's changing up a little bit, and because you get comfortable with the system that we came up with, which was basically split at 50-50. But that's really hard to do in commentary. It's really hard to do. You have so many dynamics going on as far as like the duo and ego and spotlight and community, and all of these things are just weighing on you. And so if you want to split 50-50, that takes some courage, and it takes being willing to give it up, right? And give up the mic, right, in those moments. But there's not only that. I mean, it's a complicated thing. Mainly the thing is that you can go back to a system of commentary which I think is outdated and old, but that is working and that will work, which is essentially the color and the play-by-play. And I think that's what Anders has gone back to, which is the color and the play-by-play with him and Moses, right? And it's like, fair enough. You drive the show, and you have your and that's the thing. You have your sidekick. You don't have your partner. You have your sidekick.
Right.
And that's where there's like a change in dynamic, and that's why it was so hard, and why I'm surprised that we managed to pull it off for so long. You know, to being able to do the 50-50 partnership rather than the one and the other. But that being said, who knows what the future holds? I haven't closed any doors, and I haven't, and I hold nothing personal. And I think that it's just, it's like if we want to get back together again, we get back together again. If we don't, we don't. But right now, the way that I'm approaching it is that, I'm a free agent and I get to do what I want, which is interesting because it's pretty stressful because obviously after 4 years, I've gotten comfortable to knowing where I am. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's kind of just going to keep moving.
Well,
wow.
Shit, guys.
Heavy stuff.
I just I was immediately taken back to a video we did a while ago here. It was part of our series Most Iconic Moments. It was Happy's Deagle Ace. Mm-hmm. And then the iconic part of that to me is the call. Yeah. Almost, right? Like the ace is amazing, but it's like Happy, that Semmler call.
For sure, yeah.
I still remember that to this day, man. I tore my pants because I jumped up and then fell back in the chair. Those were suit pants, man. And at the time, that was expensive. I wasn't making money. So I was like, fuck me. I just tore my best suit's pants. Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was painful.
Yeah.
But that was fun. I remember that moment clearly. Mm-hmm. It was really nice, too, because it was really nice. We were sitting, that was when it was low budget. That was DreamHack. And so DreamHack at the time, opens, they weren't high budget, affairs. And so we were literally casting off of a fold out table that was pushed up next, right under where the fans were sitting. And it was just the screen, and that was it. And then you had 2 fold out chairs, and that's what we were casting in. And the players were over to our right about 20 meters away on the stage. But that's what we were, and so it was just bare bones, run down, not run down, but bare bones, right? Yeah. Very, very low budget kind of setup, That's today, most commentators just be like, I'm not casting from that. What is this? Who the fuck do you think I am? But at the time, that was it. You sat down and you did your work. And I remember that very clearly. That was a lot of fun. That whole tournament actually was a really good time. I don't know if it was, I don't know if it's so expensive to run tournaments in London. I don't know if it was a success for DreamHack. They did manage to get a lot of people in there, but then they had COD as well, Call of Duty on the other side, and that was kind of empty. So I don't know. But that one moment, that was, it was pretty sick.
No doubt. Well, going forward now, I think all of us are going to be watching the E-League commentary with an even more pointed view, almost evaluating every pair now. Oh, is this going to be the new pair maybe? Oh, they worked really well together. Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, well, you're almost starting back to square one in some cases, or in some sense.
I am.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I am, right? Because TDK and Bardoff, they've got faces, and that's always been the case. They're settled. They're set. They're nice. Anders and Moses, there you go. Mm-hmm. And so it's I'm the odd man out. I'm the fifth wheel here. And that's going to be the really interesting thing. Mm-hmm. Where, it comes down to just, do I enjoy it or not? And do I feel the fire again or not? Mm-hmm. I think the main problem, the main thing is that we were trying to run Room on Fire at the same time as all of this. And nobody really has any idea just how much pressure there is when it comes to commentary. But the fact that I decided, we need to add more and do a talent agency and get our fingers in everything as well. Oh man, I would change a lot if I went back a couple of years now. I would change a lot on what we did and how we did it. But yeah.
Well, honestly, I don't know if there's any much more we can say.
It's just
other than just
watch.
Good luck and watch. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll all be watching with great interest and see the developments that comes forward. Mm-hmm. And we thank you very much, genuinely, for sharing that.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys as always, man. It's a good podcast. It's fun. We got to talk about a bunch of different things. Always enjoy it.
Yeah. The insights come out.
Now I am going to go eat some dinner because it's 6 p.m. and I leave in 12 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. Now I'm starving, too. I need some lunch.
So go to the bathroom.
Break for food, guys. Okay. Oh, bathroom breaks, too. Okay, so we'll try this once more. Semmler, thank you so much once again. It was a real pleasure. I hope that you will come on again soon. Maybe if you decide to continue casting with someone else or something like that, we can maybe have you both on. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate Appreciate it, guys. Take care. It was a pleasure as always. And thanks to everybody who tuned in, of course. It's always been a good time, being a commentator and having a good time with all of you guys out there. But it's not over. It's not done. Far from it. And we'll see how things pan out. I think this is just going to be a wild ride that we're still on. So see you all.
Yeah. Once again,
Hell
good luck.
yeah. Take care.
Good luck. Thanks, Semmler.
Well, that was a hell of a talk. That
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah. No, it's always
we got
good.
to talk about the sort of like more nitty gritty CS stuff, which is what was on my list. We talked about PUBG and eSports and the business side and the investment and the futures and things like that. And then we got a bit of a bomb dropped on us.
Yeah. I was shocked actually.
I'm not-
I didn't think of anything.
I didn't think
of-
either.
of-
Maybe for a split second it crossed my mind, like when I'm watching Malmö, I was just like, this is weird. I know that Semmler and Anders have told us specifically in the past, they pick and choose their events now. They don't feel the pressure to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
But, okay, Anders really wanted to do this maybe, and Semmler was still on vacation. I just explained it away.
Yeah.
Never thought for a moment that that there was a split, that there was a change. Yeah.
No, it's definitely a shock. Definitely a shock. This is the most shocking roster change in CS:GO
of the shuffle.
my
Of the
God.
shuffle, yeah.
Well, or overall.
Overall,
Honestly,
like this shuffle.
Yeah, that's
Not
what I
the-
mean. That's
yeah,
what I mean. Yeah.
okay.
Screw the OpTiC lineup. This is this lineup change is more interesting.
I'm actually really happy that we got to talk with him about it, though, because for me, the idea of the iconic duo is so interesting because the duo is something more than either person.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
It's not just two people together. Like, it takes on its own life, its own quality, and then at some point, the two people in that arrangement kind of like something happens usually. And these duos don't last forever. And
Most of them, yeah.
well, I mean, nothing lasts forever, strictly speaking. But what I'm trying to say is that to have a duo remain together for a long time requires that both people be willing to change together, and that the duo changes with them. Because I think if you try and keep something in a static way too long, or if the static way becomes the easiest way, like Semmler said, people start to feel like it's stagnant, even if it works well.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that the fans love it, it's working well for the tournament organizers. I think at a certain point you're like, well, it's the same thing we did last year. We were here last year. We were here 2 years before, or whatever. And it eventually it's like people.
Perhaps, especially in the world of esports, when the timeline for everything seems so accelerated. Because I feel like in sports, an iconic duo like this would never be thought of as stale. I'm not saying they are, but would never be thought of as stale until like decades. It'd be like, okay, shit, you guys are still together.
But not even stale, but just like I argue that they kind of define the standard of what you want your CS casting to be. I think they're kind of the pinnacle. It's what will be taught in like the esports broadcasting for at least as far as like their casting style, because arguably both of them were color commentators.
I think so.
And the way that they melded that together was perfect, I think.
But it's weird that you say that, though, because the way Semmler presented it was as sort of like a different arrangement from what you normally see, where you have play-by-play and then color.
Yeah.
And what the play-by-play has to sort of take the lead on the action most of the time, and then the color kicks in to be like,
sorry, I flipped. I meant they're both play-by-play, not both color.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I feel like the iconic duo right now has got to be Sato and Henry, and they have more of that traditional color play-by-play kind of thing. It's interesting. Semmler ended on the same note that he ended in our first episode with him, which is that if it stops being fun, he'll stop doing it, and it's not really about the money and career trajectory and things like that. By the way, if you do want to hear what he had to say to us a few months ago, and you do want to know what he's referring to when he said that we had sort of a heartfelt discussion, please go ahead and check out the theScore eSports podcast episode 13. You can find that on iTunes, you can find it on YouTube, you can find it on the theScore eSports app and browser website. And with that stupid voice, I would say that that's a wrap for us here at the theScore eSports podcast.
That one was a doozy.
Yeah, I'm reeling. I'm actually reeling.
I need a coffee after that.
I need some food. I need some coffee. I need to sit down, man. I need to talk to my mom, call her.
Hug my girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, or my girlfriend. Yeah. Shout outs to the girlfriends.
Yeah.
I have a wife.
You got that next level. We're still working with the 1.6.
Yeah.
You got the global
I
offensive.
got the global.
We're not talking about source. No source here.
Yeah, no source. For Josh Burry,
Hello.
for Dennis Gonzalez,
Hello and goodbye.
I am Colin McNeil saying until next time, guys, GG.